What's up, guys? Welcome back to Free Will. This is Tony Scardino. Last time we touched on how to overcome self-doubt. This week, we are going to ask the question, what is your biggest fear? We are going to be analyzing our biggest fears in life. And the information I'm about to give you this week is super deep, and you are going to be able to completely remove your fears and defeat them once and for all. I'm going to be sharing with you what my biggest fear was and how this information truly helped me overcome the biggest evil of all, fear. Let's get into it. The first thing we have to talk about when it comes to fear is you have to realize and accept that the universe is on your side. The more and more you keep thinking that the universe is working against you, the more and more you're going to be stuck in this cycle of fear. The universe is working with you. It is on your side. That is because we talk about these concepts in many episodes. We bring it up every time. You are the creator of your reality. Free will is following your higher self's destiny. And when you came here on earth with this life, it was your plan. Everything is your plan. And the universe is in tune with that because the universe is your perception, your reality. So it is on your side. It is your plan because it is you. So we've brought this up many times. We have good versus evil. The emotion of good is love. The emotion of evil is fear. Everything evil stems from fear. When you think about all of the evil things going on in the world, what emotion does that bring to you? Fear. When you think about all the good things in the world, what emotion does that bring to you? Love. Good and love is positive, right? Well, evil and fear is negative. So the charges to these emotions are positive and negative. Every emotion we have, whether it's the positive or negative, those are from the things we experienced in our life that filled up our DNA code. And these emotions are created to form beliefs of survival instinct. So everything we went through in life, we needed to develop certain ways of thinking, of beliefs, of habits, of anything to survive, to get to today. So keep in mind that these emotions are in your DNA based off of beliefs, and we'll get more into that. But focusing on the universe being on your side, take any example of doing something. Since it's the week of Halloween, we'll have a Halloween example. Let's say there's a haunted house. For most people, walking through a haunted house alone is scary. But now let's add in a partner or a group. You start gaining a confidence. You start releasing some fear because you know you have someone with you, someone by your side. So it's less scary and you're more likely to do it. We'll take that example into real life and realize that you have the most powerful partner to do life with, right next to you, by your side, always. And that is the universe. The universe is your partner in life. You are walking through that haunted house with the universe by your side. And that is because the universe is working with you to fulfill your purpose, your path. But keep in mind, the universe guides you, but it also has the balance of following you because you have free will. So the choices you make and the directions you choose to go into, the universe will follow that because you are also guiding. Your choices in life will shape your reality. And the universe is still your partner right there, but the direction you take it into, that's up to you. So this brings in now themes that we've talked about before of manifestation, the law of attraction, you being the creator, the things you think, the emotions you feel, the actions you choose, all of these decisions that are in your mind, that are shaping your reality, is the direction that the universe is following you on. That's why with the law of attraction, you put positive things out, you attract positive. You put negative things out, you attract negative. It's the universe being by your side and aligning with your vibration, your frequencies, your mindset. So we have this theme of choice. You can always get yourself out of a bad situation or into one. If you find yourself in a bad situation, the universe is always there to guide you in getting out of it. But it still all depends on your choices. You are the co-creator of your life with the universe. Dolores Cannon, I bring her up all the time, a famous hypnotherapist that hypnotized thousands and thousands and thousands of people and talked to their subconscious. She says that things like health, bad things happen to you when it's on a sense of health. It is always self-inflicted. So something your soul is doing, whether it's unconsciously, consciously, in a past life, now, there's always a trigger of self-infliction. There's always a sign. We talked about this in our episode of tension, break free from pain, where everything is tension and the things you go through are trauma and your body has tension and it has pains and has certain defects to show you what it's lacking or something that it went through and it needs change, it needs tuning. So this all comes back to the notion that this is your plan. This is your higher self's destiny. And when things happen to you, often you blame the universe when bad things happen to you. When things happen to you, wouldn't you trust that you would be doing the best thing for you? Wouldn't you trust your plan? And if something bad or catastrophic happens, you planned that too. And this is the ultimate truth in defeating fear, realizing that this is your plan. Because when you realize this truth, you have nothing to fear. You have completely removed the fear. It is defeated. Because why would you torture yourself on purpose if there wasn't a bigger plan in mind? And this brings back the concept of, in the third dimension, us right now living in the physical, we're living with the concept of time. Everything that happens in your life is with a micro perspective. You are living in the present day by day. So when something bad happens, you can't understand why that happened until you zoom out and see the macro and see the movie at play and see the sequence of events that needed to occur to get you to the end. So with you as the director and scriptwriter of your own movie, and you know that there's an end, but right now you can't see that end plan because you're living in the micro. When you zoom out, you can see how the sequence of events unfolded. Oh, why did this happen to me? Oh, because of this. Why did I get fired from this job? Oh, because of this. Why did this certain person leave my life? Oh, because of this. There's always a lesson attached to the negative. There's always a positive to that negative. So when you realize that this is your plan and you have trust within yourself, you can start trusting the sequence of events are happening for a reason because you're the creator. You already planned this. You wouldn't torture yourself for no reason. There's always purpose. And ironically, living in our system of evil, the evil is there in order for you to learn these lessons and having trust in your plan. They don't want you to feel like there's purpose because you're supposed to find out for yourself what your purpose is. That's the divine power. Now we'll get into that. This is why connecting with yourself is the most important thing. What is the one thing that you can prove to exist? It is yourself. It is your mind. It is your own reality. You can't prove anybody else's thoughts are reality. You can't prove anything is real except for what you're thinking. So connecting with yourself and having a bigger grasp on your intuition and being able to talk to that intuition helps you in understanding your plan and what you would not plan. You have to follow that inner guide, what speaks to your heart and soul, to follow the plan that you created. This is so crucial. They say everything is God's plan. Well, you are God. It is I am within your reality, your free will, your creation. Everything is God's plan because everything is your plan. And think about it this way. Think about people that are, let's say, tapped in, the more spiritual people that are tapped in within themselves. These people have an easier time with acceptance. When bad things happen or good or whatever, they always have gratitude, appreciation, acceptance to your plan. Because acceptance is the cure to torture. So when bad things happen in your life, you can sit there and you can ponder on them. What happens when you ponder on the bad things? It's constant torture. What happens when you don't see the bigger picture and you feel like there's no purpose to why this happened? You're in a state of torture. Accepting the events in your life is the cure. So now we've covered that the universe is the most powerful partner that you have in life. It is always with you, working with you, not against you. And then we covered that you must accept your plan. Acceptance is the cure to torture. Everything in life is lessons. You came here on earth to learn how to trust yourself. When you were born and you forgot everything and you do not know yourself at all, it is to walk in that path of darkness, to find your true self again, to know your most truest form of yourself is to walk in the path of darkness. That's how you truly know the path. And to truly know yourself is the divine power that we came here to fulfill. Fear is just an illusion that you create. Your mind, things that you went through, creates the illusion of fear. How can you learn acceptance, trust, and love if you don't go through things that teach you this? How can you truly trust and know the path you walk on if you don't walk it blind? You see where I'm getting at? You need to go through these negative things to even get you to the positive. How are you going to know what the positive is if you've never experienced the negative, if you've never learned lessons? Because if everything was easy, we had no negative, we'd one, be bored, we would, and two, we would have no divine power. We would never gain this power of self without going through this. To know what love is to know what pain is. So again, realizing that the universe is by your side makes life less scary. And then realizing that this is your plan removes the fear. Accepting that this is your plan cures the torture. And with that, I'm going to give you a little personal experience of mine on how I got to this mindset and how I came here today to share this information by sharing with you what my biggest fear is and how I overcame that. Back in the day, I would say it started in high school and it heightened a lot in my college years. I was a hypochondriac. So I had the fear of hypochondria, and this was overtaking my life dramatically. It's what triggered all my anxiety, caused a lot. I didn't talk about it that much, but it was something that I struggled with every single day. Hypochondria is a persistent fear that you have a serious or life-threatening illness, despite the few or no symptoms. So anything that was going on, if I felt a little pain here and I thought I was, having a heart attack, something there was going on and I thought I would had cancer, or I kept thinking worst case scenario when it came to my health. I was always scared that I was super sick. And it was affecting some of the people around me, of constantly hearing about me, always complaining about something possibly being wrong with me. And then I realized that this was a big fear of mine. And we talk about this in a lot of episodes. Mental game is serious. The things you tell yourself to believe will come to reality. The mental game and the anxiety of constantly thinking something was wrong was creating symptoms from just physical stress and anxiety. We talked about this with Break Free from Pain. That constant tension, that mental game, stress kills. It was adding up. My mental state could have caused an actual serious illness. And before we get into this example of hypochondria, we have to realize all emotions are generated from something you believe or define to be true. Always. Every single emotion you have is because you set a form of belief to that. So the emotion of fear is holding on to a belief or a definition that is out of alignment with your true self. Fear is the energetic result of resistance to the natural self by holding on. So every emotion has a core belief that you're attached to, and fear is showing you that your truest self doesn't want to be attached to this fear any longer. But we can reverse engineer that. And to start this reversal, it is that recognition of that emotion. You must be having a belief that is generating it. And this starts the investigation process. Most of the time, these core beliefs are unconscious. You're not consciously aware that you believe it. But once you now think about it and analyze it and realize what is this belief that is causing this fear, you can then let it go. You can realize that that belief no longer makes sense to you and let it go. Think of fear as your friend. That fear is letting you know that there is a belief inside that you don't prefer. And when that fear becomes your friend, you're no longer afraid anymore. So this connects to what I was saying, that this is your plan. These fears, these triggers that are coming up, if you see it as your friend, and you see it as, okay, this is something that I need to work on to get through, to learn the lesson, to go back and see where is my core belief stemming from and how do I let go of it. It is your friend helping you get there. Fear is the friend over helping you overcome fear. And if you keep feeling that fear, you have not found the core belief yet. Keep digging. So like we said, emotions always all stem from a belief. You're still feeling it, you haven't found it yet. If you find it and you let it go, fear is gone. So back to my personal example of my fear with hypochondria. What I did when I realized that this fear is affecting my life is I asked myself, why is this my fear? I came to conclusions of trauma, the death trauma, family history shaping my thoughts. You can also add in concepts of a past life. Things you have gone through other lifetimes can fill up your DNA code and transfer that energy, that knowledge to this life. But what I came with the conclusion is a lot of people in my life experienced serious death in their life. And I was fortunate enough to not experience it, but I saw how it affected the people I love most around me. And from a very young age, I always had this notion, this concept of death can happen early. And with that, I understood that I had a core belief of this fear, the fear of dying, the fear of something seriously wrong happening. So then, after I identified where that core belief is stemming from, I asked myself, what is this fear trying to show me? Because this is my plan. Certain things happen around me, certain things developed my mind, my reality for a reason, right? To get me somewhere. I realized I loved life. I want to live. I gained a sense of appreciation to being here. Because if I'm constantly thinking I'm sick and giving myself anxiety for it and thinking, oh, something wrong is going to happen to me. I don't want something wrong to happen to me. I don't want this could be this, it could be that, it could be this. I realized that I was so stuck on those fears because of how much I wanted to be here and healthy and living out my purpose in life. And I realized what those fears are showing me is what it's like to be purpose driven, to live a fulfilling life of being happy and doing the things you want to do, because my fears were showing me that that was the worst case scenario. But what's the best case scenario? Is living life, right? So going back, I had 1. Why is this my fear? Okay, I answered that question. 2. What is this fear trying to show me? Okay, now I'm realizing that lesson in life. 3 is accepting my plan. So if I came here and I know what my purpose is, I trust that my plan and the universe is on my side. I wouldn't plan anything that goes against my goal. So that acceptance was now the cure to that torture from that fear of hypochondria. And now, whether it's a good or bad thing that ever happens, it is my plan. The fear was then removed, and then I found a sense of inner peace, of going with the flow, trusting the universe, trusting myself. If good things come up, cool. If bad things come up, okay. It's the acceptance of knowing There is a plan further ahead. So like I said, if I stuck to that mindset, that fear mindset, I would have created that illness because your thoughts manifest. And going back to the example of what Dolores Cannon said, I would have self-inflicted this onto myself by holding on to this fear, by resisting the core belief that the fear is showing me to let go of. So you can add these steps to your fears. Afraid of heights, afraid of spiders, clowns, roller coasters, anything that you're afraid of. You can attach to why you're feeling like this. And now think of it this way. All of these examples I did, heights, spiders, clowns, roller coasters, most of our fears stem from not wanting to die. That is because we all have the desire to live. That is because we all came here with a purpose, a plan. So all of our fears that we're experiencing is showing us that it's because we have a purpose, a plan to fulfill. Now, some people have fear of love or of commitment or this or that. These are core beliefs that stem from not wanting to be in pain. So everything is a survival instinct. Our fears are our friends showing us why they're there and how to let go of that, to realize what our plan is, to accept it, and to fulfill the reality that we came here to play, the character in life that we came here to play. There is a plan in this grand scheme in your movie. So to wrap this all up, the fear is there to guide you. It's nothing to be afraid of. It is there to show you how to overcome the beliefs and to align with your truest form and your truest self and your purpose in life. Anything good that happens, anything bad that happens, because that's usually our fear, something bad happening. And bad things do happen. Bad things happen all the time. Very catastrophic, terrible events happen all the time. But I promise, your plan is there and it's strong. And everything you go through has purpose, has a lesson attached to it, and has something positive attached to it. And you have to realize that this is your reality and you have these belief systems and fears and values and desires and purposes, and the person next to you does also. And the things that happen to them, that was their plan. Everything is a plan, individually forming a collective plan. So we're going to end it off there this week. This Halloween, you are going to defeat all of your fears and you are going to align with your truest self. You can follow me on every platform at Freeing Tony. Please like, rate, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of the week and I will catch you guys next time.